Lawrenceville City Council. They have been gracious. Each time we hold this meeting, they make this space available to us. So why don't we give them a round of applause? I'm sure with a few minutes until we go into the program before I introduce people. So we're going to meet the city council one by one. But for now, we'll commence with the program. Ms. Mayor, over to you.
I see you step out there like that.
Yeah, of course, as always.
Last time Gabe said, I just want you to give a welcome. And I said, okay. And I gave a welcome. And he came up to me and said, don't you want to say something more? Because I'm not a true politician. I try to be a good steward of the city and my city. Is it okay if I introduce the council?
Yes.
Okay. So I know we have 3 of our council members, Marlene Taylor Crawford. Victoria Jones. And our newest council member, Bruce Johnson. And as I like to say, our government is a city management government, form of government. Chuck Worthington, our city manager, prefers to call it a weak mayor form of government because I'm not like the mayor of Atlanta. I don't rule things. I don't run the day-to-day. I'm like all other council members. I represent the council and the public, but we all have one vote. So that's how how we work. Thank you to everybody that's here, all our elected officials, all our candidates. I see several in the audience, and thank you for everybody that showed up and just wants to has questions about what's going on in all the various forms of government that fall under Gabe's district. Some of the things I can point out that are unique that are going on. On Monday, the City Council did the first multifamily housing inspection resolution. So we're the first that we know of. I know the county has a program. This one is more proactive. That we decided to be a little bit more aggressive because we're a smaller area and can test it out. Go ahead.
I think when I was in the city council, we did that.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, we didn't know about that. Sorry. We knew Brookhaven had, but we didn't know that Duluth did. But it goes into effect February the 1st, 2024. There's a $1,000 fine per day if you're not in compliance for each unit, so it does have some teeth. Inspections required for property prior to obtaining an occupational tax certificate. It only deals with multifamily 4 units and more, and that's basically because of state law. We'll be inspecting 1/3 of the units for 3 years, and then at that point, we'll require owners to submit a code of compliance certificate each year that covers 1/3 of the multifamily rental units on the premises by January the 1st. So there will be 100% inspections completed in 3 years. So the 4th year and beyond, inspections require moves to 1/2 of 50, 1/2 or 50% of all units. Also, as y'all know, with Lawrenceville Housing Authority, in conjunction with their partner, One Street, we work together with them in Hearthside and just had the ribbon cutting. They've been open for 3 months, correct? And so it's a great success. It's off of Stone Mountain Street. Also, the main entrance people would think of is Scenic Highway. It's restricted to 55 and older. It's 140 units, 115 apartments, 8 duplex cottages, and 9 single-family cottages. It's 20 units that are managed by the Lawrenceville Housing Authority because they have moved the Cooper Renwick and Rich Martin housing entities into these two that we're going to be moving into, 20 into this unit, and then into Grayson Highway, there'll be 156 apartments, 25% max managed by Lawrenceville Housing Authority and 25% minimum market rate. So that's a big deal because we're moving, in working with Lawrenceville Housing Authority and dealing with the zoning, they are moving 60 units of housing that was built in 1950s. So we're moving things up. Granite top county. And some even have stainless steel appliances. So, some of y'all might be interested. There's a dog park that is out to bid right now. It'll be at the lawn. It's going to be a big deal, and we've got a lot of people asking about that. The Art Commission is continually working, moving forward with Sinclair. It's out there. It's kinetic art. If you haven't seen it, just sit at the traffic light for a while. The wind just has to move 1 mile per hour, and it starts moving. And then we also have a mural that's being put on the side of the Craze Tavern. They've given permission to have an easement on that, and that will start as soon as the weather improves. And so that will be going up to talk about Lawrenceville, to go in addition to the mural that we have on Jackson Street, that y'all probably have seen also some PR about. One really neat thing too is the micro transit that we're working with the county. Could not speak more highly of how that is working. If you have not tried it, several of our council members have tried it, our staff. It is fantastic. Literally, they can pick me up at my house and then take me to the exact location I'm going. And then if I return in 3 hours, they will pick me up through this app and then take me back to my house, all for $3. So
Nice.
It's pretty amazing. If you're over 3 hours, it's going to cost you $6. So, but we've had so many people, and one thing that was really interesting, I had a few people reach out to me that have elderly parents, and this allows their parents to be able to get on the bus, go to their doctor, and come back, and just quietens the disruptions in the family. People trying to work and get their parents to the doctor. So that's a great event. I wish it would have been around when my mother was living. So anyway, also we've set our event calendar. It's very voluminous, so please feel free to go to our website, see what's going on. And so that would be a short synopsis of what's going on immediately right now.
Well, Mayor told us that he's not really a politician, and he has won elections twice. How does that happen?
3 times.
3 times? Well, in that case, I'm just a concerned citizen. But since Mayor was talking about housing, I think we need to tie that up by introducing the housing director of Lawrenceville Housing Authority, Leila.
There's a microphone.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. My name is Leila Padilla, and I'm the Executive Director of Lawrenceville Housing Authority. We also have a nonprofit arm, Gwinnett Housing Corporation. So Mayor stole my thunder and announced 2 of our major projects that we just opened, but I'm going to repeat it again so that you can share it with anybody in the community. We are thankful really for the opportunity to work with the city and the county and the state. It was a very complex capital stack, but we, with our partners at One Street Residential, brought over $70 million for these 2 developments. And Hardside Lawrenceville just opened. They are still leasing. So if you know of any seniors, 55 and up, not seniors, who are looking for an affordable apartment with amenities, it's a beautiful gated community. You could go on our website and take a look. I know those great pictures. They are still leasing. We have about 40% of the units available. Everything up to 80% of the area median income. We are thankful because it gives us an opportunity to really replace our aging public housing units that are now over 70 years old, and move our families into these, brand new mixed income communities. The other site that is not open yet, but they are pre-leasing, it's called Southtown Square, and that's a mixed income community. So we have market rents and we have some that are subsidized. There have to be income qualifications, but if you know of anybody who would be interested, please share that information. I want to also talk a little more about what we do outside of the affordable rental. We recently opened Homeowner Resource Center in Norcross, and I'm going to leave some flyers here for you if you want to take it with you. But I know it's not news to anybody anymore that we're facing nationally affordable housing crisis, and our mission with the Gwinnett Housing Corporation is to preserve homeownership and to create homeownership opportunities. So we were thankful to work with multiple partners when we opened the Homeowner Resource Center in Norcross, and we have several programs that serve owner occupants. So anybody who needs some home repairs, these are absolutely free as long as they are income qualified, up to $10,000. One of them is Healthy Homes, for example, and we are able to come in and abate any of the housing-related health hazards that a family might have. It could be a leaky roof, it could be mold, radon gas. The other one is for the seniors, to help them age out in place. So up to $5,000, we offer modifications, low cost but high impact modifications to make sure they can actually age out in their home safely. Another program, we just partnered with the county. We received $1 million for water resource assistance program. We operate that with Habitat Gwinnett, and that is, we can retrofit an entire home if you earn up to 60% of the area median income. So just to improve your water bill efficiency, water efficiency, and we also do septic to sewer conversions. So check out our website, GwinnettHousing.org. We do offer all of the housing programs from emergency shelter all the way to homeownership, foreclosure prevention. We just held a housing expo at the Aurora Theater. We had about 250 people attend, and our goal with that was to bring all the resources under one umbrella, under one roof, for people who need help to fix their home, they need down payment assistance, they need to be connected with realtor or mortgage, or they're living in an extended stay, they want to try to move in an apartment. We have, a program for everybody. So I hope you follow us also on social media so you can take advantage of some of the other programs that we offer. And thank you again for the opportunity to share what we do. Thank you all.
Okay, usually we wait till the very end, till the last speaker presents, before we ask questions. But I had to bring Leila up because she has to run somewhere. Home. There are two small, beautiful kids. So we have to accommodate moms in this program. So, if you have any questions for her, I'd like for her to take it before she leaves. The rest of the speaker presenters, keep your questions. Once the last one is done, fire at them. All right? So, anybody, do you have a question? Whatever?
Hi, how are you? Normally the 55 and up communities have been like one person can get in there and they can only have one bedroom and no one can live with them, right? That's still the way.
You say they can only have one bedroom in 55 and up communities?
Yes.
No, these are up to 2 bedrooms. So you can select 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. There's a small price difference if you get an extra bedroom.
If you're just one person.
Yes.
You don't have to be one.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about the difference. What's the high?
I'm sorry?
The high, what is the high,
The highest rent
no, the highest that you can make?
that you can make, so it's up to 80, I don't have the exact numbers and I apologize for that. It's up to 80% of the area median income, and it follows every jurisdiction. So I believe for a family of 1, it would be in the 40s. 40,000 would be the maximum. And then, of course, that number increases, as your household size increases. So if you have 2 or 3, that number goes up.
So there's still really nowhere, I mean, you're doing a great job, but there's still nowhere really for like middle income people making.
That's the maximum that you can earn. That's not the minimum.
No, that's the maximum.
Yes, so if you earn over that, you would not qualify, and it has different tiers. So, some are affordable to families that are extremely low income. And then we have some that are affordable to 50% area median income, so people would make just half of the median income. So it has the rent structure set up to meet different levels of income at these tax credit properties.
Okay, so do you have anything that has just gone up that's for someone over that 40,000?
Yes, people who can make 12,000 a year would qualify as well.
Over the 40,000.
No, ma'am. I can talk to you a little more in detail about that, but there's minimum income just to make sure that people can make that, but they look at mostly the maximum income amount, that they cannot earn over that. So if the lower you are, the higher you are, there was no preference over the income as long as you fall into that category. If you're on the higher side of that category or lower, that doesn't change, your the preference. I hope that answers it.
I want to kind of piggyback on what she's saying, because I've heard this in so many places where, like, I'm not sure who decides on this to cap it at 40,000 or anything. But so somebody who makes 42,000, for example, is not going to qualify. What's the difference? Somebody who makes 50,000. So I've seen many people are different. Mindsets are different. I've seen many people who have chosen to stick at a particular, they'll not want to improve themselves and earn more money because they don't want to be cut out of that kind of benefit. Because the idea is that if you make 45, you're making way a lot of money, you can afford certain things, and it's not true. So I don't know who comes up with that kind of bracket, and who, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's it's called, I think, they're referred to as a welfare cliff. So, the higher your income, the more benefits that you end up losing, and your life expenses actually increase as you increase your income. And that is a real problem. With this particular site, it's really 55 and up. We typically would be serving families or households who are on fixed incomes. So that wouldn't apply here. But for our other programs, what we have is we acquire properties throughout the county. And some of the families that we have who are in a situation like that are like in public housing, or they came to us homeless, we have a continuum of the programs that they can move up to get them into the self-sufficiency, where that rent structure is kind of tiered, and they don't have to go from paying, $200 to $2,000.
Okay, so maybe I'll get to them and talk to you later. What she said is kind of what I'm saying. So
Okay.
I'm retired from IBM. I have my pension. I have my Social Security. They want me to keep teaching in this county. I won't do it.
They want you to keep teaching?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't work. Because it's going to make everything just too hard.
Yeah.
And that's not right, because
That's
I'm
how
able to
programs
work.
are structured.
I'm able to work.
Yeah.
I would be good at it. But someone has designed this structure to not be, we're aging, we're doing better, we're living longer, we are more able to do, and I see this problem where people just won't do it.
The reality is these programs were really created for extremely low-income families or very low-income families. With the housing crunch that we're seeing right now, a lot of middle-class families are affected too, and that's the gap doesn't qualify. That's a population that still doesn't qualify for any of the benefits, but they are unable to get into the home, purchase a home, and even afford a rental.
So we're lost on it.
Exactly. Yeah, we have programs like that. It's limited inventory. We have also a home ownership program, and this specifically for households like that. Because right now, it's almost impossible. Nobody's building starter homes. So we have 2 developments that we're building in unincorporated Lawrenceville and unincorporated Lawrenceville. And those homes, we're going to be selling them like $70,000 below market, so they can be affordable to first-time home buyers. Median sales price right now for homes in Gwinnett County for the first time exceeded $400,000. So it is absolutely very hard for that first generation of homeowners to break into the market. And that's what we're trying to do with our nonprofit as well, to create those opportunities for them. I'll be outside.
So the median home in Gwinnett County is above $400,000. You know what the median rent is?
It's around 75.
It's 75?
75, 76 is when last numbers are 50 something for most.
That's the,
Yeah.
Oh, no, all right.
the average rent being in is somewhere around 78 or 79. That's according to the ARC. That's kind of why. I don't know about that.
About 2,300 to 2,400.
Yeah, yeah.
But nothing that's being created right now is charging that much higher. New construction, everything that's being built is practically catering towards luxury housing.
Median 2,300.
Yeah.
That's making the homelessness a choice, but that's not good. We need to do better. And please, a round of applause for Ella. I don't see anybody speaking anything. We've got some stuff that table for you. Please pick up something to eat as we keep talking. Alright? Anyway, we're gonna keep making progress. Next on the agenda, since we have updates from the mayor of Lawrenceville, we're going to get an update from the county of Gwinnett. That will come from Commissioner Kirkland Carter.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Yeah. But first off, I do want to thank y'all all for coming out in the rain and the elements to come attend this event, to get a briefing about the county, about the city, about different things we're doing in town. Second, I do want to thank Gabe Employee for organizing this event, not just during bad weather, but during legislative session. I mean, this is like their busiest time of year, but yet he still is able to organize this event and have the attendance. So again, thank you, Gabe. So I guess real quick, I'm gonna touch on some of the things that we've done on your behalf, and then some of the priorities and challenges ahead of us in the years to come. So I do want to say over the last 3 years, I was elected in 2020. Over the last 3 years, the Board of Commissioners has made great progress in addressing some important local issues, such as homelessness, transportation. We made it easier to vote and focusing on community and economic development. However, as you heard from Layla and the exchange of those questions, there's still a lot of work to be done. And I'm going to try my best to touch on that, the housing thing, but just Layla's the best in housing policy in Gwinnett County, Georgia. So, bear with me. But real quick, the 3 priorities I do want to let people know that I will be focusing on for 2024 will be public safety, transportation, and yes, affordable housing. So real quick, and then at the end of the presentation, on my comments, I do want to touch on the budget. We passed a massive budget earlier this month. It's very important, but we'll touch on that. So real quick, housing. As Layla mentioned before, we're in the middle of a housing crisis. This is nationwide. This just isn't Gwinnett County, Georgia. The problems we're talking about are from east to coast, west coast, south, midwest, you name it. I would say Gwinnett, we're experiencing the problem maybe a little bit worse than other communities because of our rapid population growth. To give you a quick history lesson, in the 90s, Gwinnett was one of the fastest growing counties in the United States, top 10. We were putting out homes, building development very fast in the 90s and the early 2000s. The Great Recession happened. in housing and development stopped. However, our population never really stopped growing. It slowed down, but never really stopped. And ever since the Great Recession, the equilibrium has been off. The rate of people coming to the county has never quite matched the rate of home development or building in the county. It's a simple equation of supply and demand. If there are 10 people coming to a community, but there are only 4 homes available, those 10 people are going to bid or fight against each other in a bidding war to get into those 4 homes. So that means 6 of those people, according to my math, will be left behind. In layman's terms, that is the problem, right? Because of those 4 people, going back to my example, they will inflate the cost of getting into a single family home, a rental unit, a townhome, you name it. So, real quick, for the month of December, the median sales price for a home in Gwinnett County, Georgia, and I pulled these numbers earlier this month, is $415,000. That's the median cost. So that means there was some that were more, there was some that were less, but still, homes in Gwinnett are sold for $400 plus. All right, the median income in Gwinnett County, Georgia, according to the ARC as of last year, was $78,000 a year, ballpark. So as the kids say, the math ain't math, and people are being left behind. The people of Gwinnett can no longer afford to live in Gwinnett, and that is a serious problem. But guess what? You have county leadership that recognizes that. That was the bad, but here's the good. You got city leadership and Mayor Steele that recognizes that problem. You got state leadership that recognizes that problem. At least some of them do. So one of the things that we wanted to do, or we did last year, October 2023, was we created an affordable housing trust fund. We took $18 million of CARES Act, I believe, COVID relief money, put in a separate account. And then private sector developers, nonprofit folks such as Layla, they submitted applications to get some of that $18 million to help offset their cost of development, construction, or property acquisition for their project. In return, as a county, we said we need a commitment of affordable housing units for a duration of time. Meaning we will help you lower the cost of your construction, but you got to give me something within 80 to 35% of the average median income. So that was the first time we've ever done this in Gwinnett County's history, 200 plus years. All right, so progress takes time, but that was COVID CARES money. The next thing we have to move towards in the county leadership is creating permanent, standing, long-term programs that incentivize private sector developers and nonprofit folks to create affordable housing. If you have no incentives, they will not make it. It's the carrot and the stick. I can make ordinances that are sticks, but if there's not a monetary carrot, no one will take a bite out of it. So that's one of the things we're going to focus on in 2024, is working with county staff to create that toolkit. We've done the studies. We did the housing study, right? We've updated the comp plan. We've met with the consultants. We actually did an affordable housing deal as a county first time at the tennis center by Stone Mountain in Ben Coos District 2, right on the line with DeKalb County and Gwinnett. So we have the experience. We just got to get the political leadership. We got to get movement to address this crisis. Because as I said before, this is a national crisis. Like any other national crisis in this country, is usually the role of government to step up. Whether it was COVID-19, whether it was a housing crisis, you name it. Because again, we work on your behalf. So housing will be number one priority, or one of the top priorities. Public safety is a major priority. As you know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we did see a rise in some crimes here in the county. I'm happy to report we've seen violent crimes such as assault, rape, and murder down countywide. The clearance rate, however, for homicides did go up. It went up from 91% to 95%. That's a good thing for those who don't know. That means if somebody was committing a crime, right, you got, what's the homicides? That means we're bringing more people to justice, right? That means we're getting justice for the victim or the family who was the victim of that crime. To give you context, the national average for clearance rates is 61%. That's really scary. That lets you know that you got some good folks there at the Gwinnett County Police Department. This is J.D. McClure. They're leading the charge on that, right? You have a CLIA certified police department. You should feel very good sleeping at night. You know, and I got the numbers to back it up. So, transportation, third and final priority. So last year, we committed $25 million of money to redevelop the Gwinnett Place Mall Transit Hub. So that was $20 million federal funds with a $5 million match. We worked with our DOT to submit the application and apply for that. It was something through the federal DOT, and thanks to our federal partners such as Lucy McBath, John Ossoff, and Raphael Warnock, and probably a few others that slipped my mind, we were able to bring that $20 million home to Gwinnett County, Georgia. So we'll start on that project in 2027. So in a few years. And it will, I mean, look, I'm sure y'all heard the bus out here in Gwinnett. What's the transit hub look like right now? A bunch of benches in a circle and a sea of asphalt. And people wait out there in the cold and the rain and the hot temperatures for their ride. Well, we're getting with the times. And this will be a multimodal transit hub right next to Gwinnett Place Mall, which we're also working on redevelopment. And you can catch fixed bus routes, bus rapid transit, or on-call bus services there too. So that area is changing at warp speed, and I want you to know that that transit hub will change too. Also, we expanded local bus routes last year for Gwinnett County, Georgia. And as Mayor Steele talked about, we expanded the rideshare service, Ride Gwinnett. If you have a smartphone, go to the App Store, download Ride Gwinnett, and like Mayor Steele said, if you live in 1 to 2 zones, you can get a ride for $3 one way and another $3 going home. So I think the last time I rode Uber in Gwinnett, it cost me, up from Duluth to Lawrenceville, it cost me $28, almost $30. So if you're in that zone, it's like a tax-funded ride share. So you're welcome. Please download that app. More to come. Oh, and I also forgot, we're preparing another transit referendum for voters to consider in November of 2024. You may have seen in the news, y'all can clap for that, that's huge. You may have seen in the news that we've been doing some work with that. We did a notice of referendum, we sent that off to the Atlanta Regional Commission. They're reviewing it. The way it works out, legal timing, you can't call an election before with another election in place, so we're going to have to wait until after the May 21st primary before we meet as a board to call that referendum. It's my hope that a majority of the board will call that referendum. And the voters of Gwinnett County can have the opportunity to decide to expand transit services here in Gwinnett. I won't spend too much time on it because we'll have months of public education around it. With some of the highlight big differences from the last referendums that failed. No MARTA. This will be an expansion of the Gwinnett DOT. There's no rail, so it's all bus, fixed routes, BRT, on-call services like me and Mayor Steele talked about. So again, we heard what y'all had to say, and we're trying to incorporate that in the plan. Also, too, another thing y'all mentioned, I think it was 15 or 20 years for less than 2 miles of rail to come down to Jimmy Carter. And y'all complained, well, a lot of folks, I'm going to say all that, but a lot of people who didn't support the plan complained it would take too long. Well, 100% of this plan will be online within 9 years. So again, we're trying our best to meet y'all where y'all are, where the residents are at, but also address the major transportation concerns of our county. I think that's it for the main 3. I will touch on budget highlights real quick. As I said before, we expanded micro transit zones throughout the county. That was in the budget that we passed November 2nd. So we're going to add new zones across the county. We expanded our economic development division. So we're going to have more people in the county focused on economic development, redevelopment across the county. In the budget, there's 12 new firefighter positions that will staff new ambulance and alternative response vehicles. There's 12 new hires for the E911 center. We'll have new officers to help with that. And we increased the pay for election officials. So again, we're trying our best to make it easier for y'all to vote. So I guess I got a shameless plug. If you or anybody you know is interested in being a poll worker, the next elections hiring event we'll have will be Friday, January 26th from 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the North Cross Library branch, just off Buford Highway. If you need more information, visit GwinnettCounty.com/hire poll officials. And then lastly, another shameless plug. I'm preparing my State of the District address. It's an annual speech that I give every year in different parts of District 1, just to update people of all the good that we're doing on their behalf. Similar to this, but maybe a little more time and more substance to it. If there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. My email is perkman.carden@GwinnettCounty.com, and I will do my very best to be here to end this program to answer your questions.
Microtransit $3. Right, Commissioner?
Yes, sir.
All right. They didn't expand it to my area. I'm still paying $30 each way to Uber. So I am keeping my receipts. But the commissioner talked about public safety. And that's a good segue to asking the two gentlemen in uniform, starting with the police chief of Lawrenceville, the city of Lawrenceville, and Chief John Murray. Stop it. He did not include me in the basketball team.
Because he didn't want you to beat him.
Just to reiterate, we did win that basketball game. We missed it. He's going to be in the next game. I promise. So, thank you, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Thank you again for the invitation to be here this evening, Representative Foye. It's been a little over a year since I came on as the police chief of the city of Lawrenceville. It's been an exciting, very fast-moving year. I feel like we achieved a lot of good things for the department. We really got the department moving in the right direction. So this evening, I just want to talk about a couple of things that we're working on now and some initiatives that we're going to be launching here early 2024. So you may have heard on January 11th, we launched our program that we call LCAPS, which is Lawrenceville Citizens and Police Partners, which is our Citizens on Patrol program. And what this does, it was created as an extension out of our Citizens Police Academy. And it provides our citizens a volunteer or an opportunity to volunteer to partner with the Lawrenceville Police Department. And what we did is we trained our volunteers in different areas. They went through an extensive 8-week training program so they can go out in the field and help our police officers. Specifically, they're going to be helping in traffic control, traffic direction, general patrolling throughout the city, first aid, and even we're working on parking enforcement, which is a big issue here in the city. So now, why is this important? There's really two reasons. First of all, it shows our commitment to working with the community and partnering with the community. But also what I hope it does is that when you have somebody inside the city that's thinking about committing a crime or thinking about doing something, a wrongdoing, and they see that Citizens Patrol vehicle rolling around, they know that this is a community that works together with the police department, and they know that our community members are our eyes and ears and will help us. And they'll say, you know what, we're going to leave this area. We don't want to commit a crime in the city of Lawrenceville. That's the goal. And just to build that relationship. On February 19th, our newly formed bike patrol will hit the streets in the city of Lawrenceville. And this unit's important because it is a community policing unit. Their target area is going to be the downtown business district,
the Lawrenceville lawn area and even other areas where we may see a spike in crime. The Depot District, the city's working towards bringing some trails on board, and that'll be part of their mission as well. We're starting it with 1 sergeant and 2 officers. However, July 1, we're adding 2 more officers, so it'll be a 5-man unit, 4 officers and 1 sergeant. They will assist in some of the 30-plus city-sponsored events that we have here in the city of Lawrenceville. They'll patrol, I mentioned, the trail system. They'll keep an eye on the Aurora Theater. They'll handle 911 calls for service in their target area, which will free up our patrol units to focus on other areas within the city. As I mentioned, it's a community policing function. And why are we doing this? There's a lot of advantages to this. I'll just share a couple of things I wrote down. Bicycle patrols, they result in twice the amount of citizen contacts than a vehicle would involve. Because they're out there, they're approaching folks, they're seeing, there's not a barrier for a patrol vehicle, so we're increasing our citizen contacts twice the amount. They're less threatening than a patrol car. I mean, you think about it, would you rather approach an officer on a bicycle or in a police car? There's a quick transition from traditional police duties to community policing activities when they're on a bicycle. Criminals don't notice bike patrols. They don't hear them, they don't see them. Bike patrols can go where the police car cannot go, down alleyways, in certain areas of the park, etc. There's environmental and health benefits to bicycle patrol. And it's a morale booster for the department because it's creating opportunity for the officers to do something else other than traditional policing duties. And provides quicker response time in those target areas that we're going to be patrolling. And as I mentioned, there's a big public relations component to it, and the idea was very well received by our business community. We are also working on implementing a gunshot detection system throughout the downtown area to locate firearm discharge. What this system will do is it'll pinpoint, when there's a gunshot, it will pinpoint it within feet of where it came from. And we'll be getting notifications of this. The officers will get those notifications on their phones and on their computers before there's even a 911 call. And looking at the stats, last year in the city of Lawrenceville, we had approximately 115 shots fired calls. And a lot of those go unsolved and unresolved because we can't get there quick enough. And in this day and age where active shooter threats seem to be increasing, this is going to be a very valuable tool to help keep the Lawrenceville community safe. In partnership with Representative Okoye, and we had a great lunch recently, and he brought this up, a concern and something he wanted to do in the city here, and that's we're going to host a gang awareness class for parents. I've got 2 really good officers that are gang experts on our department, and they're going to put on a presentation. And actually, I'm going to reach out to the district attorney to have somebody from your office talk about the statutory side of things. So we're going to host this class basically so parents can come in and see the warning signs, so they can see maybe they don't realize what's happening and that their child is involved in a gang. So we're going to be rolling that out in the near future, and thank you for that. You deserve the credit for bringing that forward. As you know, you all have heard me speak before about my commitment to the community, but it goes beyond that. We're committed to working with our partnering law enforcement agencies. I cannot say enough about Chief McLaurin and Gwinnett County Police Department. He has supported me. He has helped me. His agency has helped us. Has partnered with the city of Lawrenceville. On New Year's Eve, they reached out to us. And they said, hey, we want to do a countywide traffic detail to try and keep our residents safe on New Year's Eve. Would you like to be a part of this? And we jumped on board with his outstanding officers. And I just want to share some of these numbers. That evening, there were 275 traffic stops made. That resulted in 210 citations, 60 for speeding. And we all know how dangerous speeding can be. There were 27 arrests. But this is the important part. Of those 27 arrests, 18 of them were for DUI. I see that as 18 life-saving opportunities. And again, this is because of the partnership, the outstanding work of his department, and all of us working together. So I believe these things are working to help make the community safer. And I look forward to seeing the progress we're going to continue to see in 2024. I thank all of you for your support, and I'm here for you when the meeting's over. If you have any questions, any ideas, anything you want to know about the Lawrenceville Police Department, we're here for you. Thank you.
So Chief, did I hear you right? When there's a gunshot, you know exactly where it is and you go there before they won't call 911?
That's correct, sir.
Woo! Yeah. I am not thrilled at all. Because very soon, when you think about shooting, they will know. You know? Anyway. No, I think the chief of police of the county, let me recognize a few people in this room, starting with, sometimes they confuse both of us, two of us in the General Assembly, that they see him, they call him gay. They call him single. Representative Adele. He represents the 110 district, Gracie. But some of my Lawrenceville went to him. And he's not happy because I now represent his mayor. Then some of his residents came to me, so he wants to be a part of this because some of his constituents are here. Welcome, sir. Our county district attorney, Patsy, that's I know I'm going to miss some people, but not yet. I still see plenty of you out there. The city councilors back there, Bruce, please wave again. Marlene, where are you? Right back there. Victoria. Oh, I won't forget Mayor. Mayor? All right, we have also with us today our county tax commissioner, Dennis. We also have a few candidates in the room. Running for sheriff, Clemens. Brian, where's Brian? And let me see. Oh, running for re-election for tax commissioner is the tax commissioner I introduced before.
Who knows? All fine will be in March.
All right. He's running for re-election in District 1. Who am I missing?
It's okay. You're all man, I'm gonna be district attorney.
That's right. Anybody else?
Hello, Bob Tom, working for Gwinnett County Tax.
Oh. Anybody in this? All right. Well. Oh. the man who makes the is that municipal association, is the guy who makes it tick. And when he came here, he told me, it's just me today. I don't know if any other GMA people are coming. I said, when you're here, they're all here. My name is. And now, the reason why I make these introductions before I bring up the county police chief is I wanted him to watch and see who didn't clap. Please welcome police chief J.D. McClough.
All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here this evening. I'm sitting there just writing down a few notes, and really when it comes to me talking about public safety, those folks who've been around me know that I can literally stand up here and talk for hours, but I'll spare you that. Before I begin, I want to echo what Police Chief John Mullen said. I've been nothing but impressed with him, so to the leadership here in Lawrenceville, you made a phenomenal decision. I always say I don't get paid any extra to say that. It's just my honest observation. Since he joined the Gwinnett Chiefs, we have an association that we meet on a monthly basis. And with Chief Mullen coming in and lending his voice to that group, he's really helped to elevate our team. He came in very humble and willing to learn. One of the unique things about law enforcement here in Gwinnett that you don't see in a lot of counties is the synergy that we have. We're not siloed. We help one another, much like inviting him to participate in our traffic enforcement detail. I think the citizens here in the county and the city, the unincorporated areas are very lucky. And that includes the district attorney's office with whom we have a great relationship. So, touch on a few points that hopefully you all will be interested in hearing, and certainly I can answer another question. So, the first thing I think that stands out about the Gwinnett County Police Department, particularly the last few years, is our reliance and investment in technology. What we saw in the aftermath of the summer of 2020, we all know we had a tragic murder of George Floyd. We lost a lot of police officers, not just in our department, but throughout the country. And so the last 3 years has really been about building that trust within our community and bringing these folks back into law enforcement. But one of the really good things that was born out of that is we had to look for other ways when manpower shifted to still solve crimes. When folks call 911, they expect us to be there. In the absence of catching an individual in hand, you still have an expectation that those crimes are going to be solved. And so that's why we lean heavily on technology. And so what I'm talking about specifically is the Situational Awareness and Crime Response Center. That's a 24-hour response center that we have at police headquarters, where we have access to license plate readers. We have access to video technology and video feeds. And to be clear, these are open sources, if you will. In other words, license plate readers are in lawful places. In other words, we're not sneaking onto people's property to gather this information, but it's readily in plain view. So we use those license plate readers. We use video feeds from businesses and homeowners associations, but just understand those are granted to us, right? So we don't have the ability just to log into, fill in the blank subdivision and watch cameras. But what we have is a partnership with the community through what we refer to as safe communities. So when the community allows us access to those cameras, then what happens is when we have a crime go out, say it's at Pleasant Hill and Club Drive, just know that we don't have crime analysts just sitting around watching folks' cameras all day. When that crime goes out and 911 call is received, they immediately start working on those assets. So they pull those cameras up, and I'll give you an example. We had a shooting at Pleasant Hill and Club Drive, and when our officers get there, they found an individual shot dead in a truck. And so the perpetrator had escaped. This appeared to be a road rage situation. Nonetheless, the vehicle was gone. We had very few witnesses, very few descriptions, but we were immediately able to get up on these cameras. We tracked this vehicle into DeKalb County, and within 45 minutes of that shot being fired, we had the individual in custody. So, yeah, as a community, you should sleep better at night knowing that this investment exists. Again, this was an investment in the VOC at an initial cost of about $8 million. But just phenomenal technology and a means to keep our community safe. Along that lines, I want to quickly touch on our NIBIN system, which is the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, right? Don't try to say that 3 times. But we have technology in-house that links us directly to the ATF database so that we can look at ballistic evidence, right? So again, we talk about gunshots being fired and fired cartridges being found at the scene. So what we can do now is, again, thanks to the VOC allowing us to purchase this, because this wasn't a budgeted item. We asked for this mid-year in 2022 to really get this technology in. Very few departments across the country have NIBIN in-house, but we can quickly take those cartridges and upload them and compare them to different cartridges and build leads. Again, I don't want to give you story after story, but we had an incident where we stopped a young person who, when he was stopped, he threw a gun out of the window. We test fired guns that we also take into custody. So we test fired this gun, we pulled the cartridge, we entered it into the database. It matched to a homicide in North Carolina. Now, when we go back to the North Carolina homicide, just understand that they had no leads. This was a young woman shot dead in the house, 0 leads. Well, what we learned is this individual, along with his family, moved. They lived next door to the victim immediately in the aftermath of that shooting. So what we're able to do then is give North Carolina those leads. So some of these leads may not help our agency, but they help other agencies. So it's phenomenal. So again, I won't belabor the point, but I refer to these as force multipliers. Until we continue to build the staffing up to where the police department needs to be, we need to rely on technology to bridge that gap. It'll never replace an officer in a uniform or on a bicycle, but it certainly helps to bridge the gap. And when criminals know that we can go up on these tags, that we have video footage. Now, granted, what are they going to do now? They're going to get more clever in how they perpetrate crime, but then we adapt to that. I think the last thing I want to talk to you about is behavioral health, right? Is responding to calls where citizens are in crisis. I think over the last 5 years, this is probably the absolute best initiative that we have come across. And I know Chief Mullen can testify to this. So when I got to police department, we have 6 licensed mental health clinicians that are out riding around with our officers so that when we encounter a citizen who is in crisis, and believe me, a large amount of calls for service are going to involve people with mental health crisis. Well, imagine you got a young 22-year-old officer out there who doesn't have a lot of experience in that. Yeah, we give them training in crisis intervention, but to have these mental health professionals on scene who can readily identify the mental health conditions that folks are dealing with, if we need to take an involuntary committal of that person and get them the help they need, then we have that. And so I think across the country, you're going to have less uses of force because now we have this advanced training out there. Thank you. And that's through our partnership with Viewpoint Health, and I believe Chief Mullen will also use that. So what you're seeing is, again, we've had a lot of tragic incidents happen throughout the country, but if we don't learn from them and we don't improve, then we're doomed to make those same mistakes again. So what I think you're seeing is law enforcement build and improve based on some of these things that are happening. The last thing that I would just tell you is much like Chief Mullen, we make it a priority to build positive relationships in our community. When a crisis happens across the country, it's too late to start building relationships with your community. So whether you're in schools or in churches or some of the grassroots efforts that we have, it's very, very important. I remember when Curtis Clemens was chief of staff, he initiated a policy where officers had to get out of the car, make physical contact with our citizens, and that's most important. Every Gwinnett County commander that you see in a precinct has 2 essential functions. Number 1, reduce crime in your community, full stop. Number 2, build positive relationships in the community. If we go back, and I'll end with this, Sir Robert Peel is the father of modern day policing. So in London, he essentially started policing and came up with 9 principles. Some of those principles still relevant today. And one very key principle essentially said, never forget that the police are the community and the community are the police. So I appreciate you all being here tonight to demonstrate your commitment to your community. And much like the rest of the panel, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Something just occurred to me. Do you want to be a police chief? Last name starts with N. Police chief of Lawrenceville, Murray. Police chief of Gwinnett County, McClure. My name is Gabe McCoy. Before we go on, I want to introduce 2 people that have partnered with me, and these are great reps of the people that give you electric power. Dion Tucker, want to see? Come on, Bonnie, Jackson EMC. And I'm gonna have them now tell us how we can stop paying our bills.
Yes. And still receive service.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And still get service too?
I didn't say that. But I'm gonna have them talk to us now. Again, I think most of what the Chief McClure said, very important. Police is the community, and the community is the police. The other thing is, most of you here are criminals. Chief, we're gonna have a convention of criminals, so you can tell them what you tell us here, and they're scared and not the criminals anymore. Right, so we're gonna have, Mr. Square, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not used to being stuck behind a podium and a microphone, so I'll wander. Apologies. My name's Adam Spear. I do work with Jackson EMC. Thank you, Representative. Mayor, thank all of you for having us here this evening. Cameron is my colleague here at our Lawrenceville District Office. He's in our business development team and our marketing department. I work in our residential department. I'm a residential energy advisor. And I actually work over in our office, our district office in Madison County. If anyone has ever been through Madison County, we're north of Athens, not the city of Madison, south of Athens. People get that confused, but made the drive across a very foggy 316 this afternoon to be with y'all. And my role as an energy advisor is to help educate our members. We are a member-owned cooperative. So we serve over 250,000 meters across a 10-county region here in Northeast Georgia, from the urban and suburban areas of Gwinnett County to the poultry houses and cow pastures in Madison County. We cover just about everything across 10 counties. But we are happy to serve our members. Is there anyone in the room who is a member of Jackson EMC? You raise your hand. Good. We got a few folks. So what I say will matter more than what it could have if no one was a Jackson EMC member. So that's great. But just sharing about energy savings, that's something that applies to anybody. And my cohorts from Georgia Power will share some information that's useful to all of you as well. But, you know, what I see as a residential energy advisor and the work that I do, you know, there's things that can be very easily looked at and talked about when it comes to energy savings. And I'm a Jackson EMC member. I pay a power bill too. We're certainly not going to be helping make sure no one has a power bill at all, Representative. But I, as anybody, am interested in helping save energy and save money. I've got a wife and 4 kids at the house, so my power bill can be a big chunk of our budget. So I'm certainly looking at ways to save money. I've got a couple of prizes here, and this is the component of the program for audience participation. If you had to guess, what is the largest average use of electricity in the home, what would it be?
Refrigerator.
Wrong answer.
AC.
The man with the laptop. You get a prize.
Yay.
Now, he says AC, air conditioning.
And heating.
And heating. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I was gonna say that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Hey, I raised my hand. Then we all learned that?
Please.
Raise my hand, see?
Sir, we got law enforcement officers here this evening. So heating and cooling, that accounts usually up to half of your electricity usage, energy usage, will be coming from your heating and cooling. So related to that, weather impacts your electricity, your energy usage greatly. The last week or two, I am already envisioning in my mind about a month from now the conversations I'm going to be having with our members about their power bill and why was their power bill higher this month than it was the month before. Well, just remember it was about 25 degrees for about 36 straight hours or below freezing for quite a bit of time, and that impacts your energy usage, whether we think about that at the time or not. So heating and cooling is usually the biggest energy user. Prize number 2, what is going to be typically the second largest energy user in the home?
Refrigerator.
Your electricity, the lights.
No, ma'am, and no, ma'am. No. What's another guess? The second largest energy user in the home typically.
Television.
I was going to say.
I think I heard it. Someone said it.
Your dryer.
Yeah. So your water heater.
I raised my hand.
I know you did. I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. That's right.
He did wait. He did wait for you to still answer.
I was interrupted, right?
He waited for you to still answer.
You have law enforcement officers. You're up back.
Literally, way back there.
Make sure they're still back there. Water heater. Yeah. So your water heater. And that's something, I had a conversation today with a lady, and her power bill, her usage had gone up 3 times what it was a year ago at the same time. It was a water heater was leaking, and she didn't realize it. So, and what we're here for as our job as energy advisors is to help troubleshoot a lot of times and help figure out what are the reasons your power bill may not be what it should be. We're certainly, we're in the power selling business, but we're here as a resource to help y'all save energy, save money, be more efficient, and be better stewards of the resources that we have. I've got some great resources that I brought with me. Our Ways to Save book, even if you're not a Jackson EMC member, some great information in here that will help you find ways of making your home more energy efficient. Things like upgrading your heating and cooling system, doing routine maintenance on your water heater, insulation, air sealing, upgrading your appliances. Some very easy things that you can do, resources that you can look at. We have checklists, energy savings tips. Great resource for anybody, whether you're served by Jackson EMC or not. For the folks specifically that are Jackson EMC members, we have a great resource and set of services for you to be more informed about energy usage in your home. We're talking about average uses. What are the typical users of electricity in your home? A great way, if you're a Jackson EMC member, a great way for you to get more specific information is a service that we have called our Home Energy Monitor. And that's a resource through our website where you can go actually input your account number. You answer some basic questions about your house. You know, how many AC systems do you have? What do you set your thermostat at? That's a big deal when it comes to your energy usage. How many people are in their house? And it will fine tune what those energy uses are and how much money is associated with that, your cost, and what are some ways to save and to be more efficient based on that information through that system. So it's a great tool to give you some more specific information and direction. We have, through this Ways to Save booklet, we have a do-it-yourself kit where you can go through your home and do your own energy audit. Resources and videos on our website that do the same thing and give you some tips. And we also have a program called our Home Energy Evaluation. This is a high-tech energy audit. You know, if you talk to me, I'm like your general practitioner. I'll give you some basics. I can give you some rules of thumb. I can kind of go through some things in a larger kind of general view of it. Our home energy evaluation, that's when you go talk to your specialist and they bring the x-ray equipment in. They bring the diagnostic tools to look at things like leakage in your house, measure the airflow in your ductwork. So there's some real diagnostic opportunities to get into your home. There's some incentives available with some of these programs, so you can get some money back for performing some of these services. We have rebate programs. If you're a Jackson EMC member and you need to replace your heat pump, we have a $400 rebate that you could apply for replacing that with a more energy efficient system. We also offer financing to our members. Can anyone go out today to a bank or a credit union and get a 3% interest rate? Show of hands, anybody? With enough motivation, maybe. But if you're a Jackson EMC member, we have a
motivation.
we have a program called our Home Plus Loan. Our Home Plus Loan, you can apply for financing through a credit union we partner with. Jackson EMC helps buy down that interest rate to a 3% interest rate so that you can add insulation to your home. You can replace your heat pump system. Up to $7,500 for 36-month or 60-month terms. So like I mentioned, we're here to serve our members. We're here to provide resources and be those energy advisors and be involved in our community to help y'all save money, save energy. And these resources I've got available here. And if you have any questions after we're done, be happy to help answer. Thank you all.
Woo!
Thank you so much. Now that I've given you this exposure, I'm not a member. So you're just gonna have to come and yank Georgia Power from my house and free power. But then let's hear from Georgia Power.
Good evening, everyone. I am Carmelita Merriweather with Georgia Power's Energy Assistance Team, and I'm here. Well, thank you. We're super excited to see you today. Thank you so much for allowing us to be able to spread some awareness around some of the programs, products, and services that we offer. So I'm a part of the Energy Assistance Team, and that team was put in place basically to provide a safety net for our most vulnerable customers. Those customers are customers who are senior citizens, income qualified, customers who have special circumstances or special needs, and also those customers that are displaced workers and families. We found that out during COVID. So we are here, what we do is we partner with organizations that provide assistance for our customers through community and faith-based organizations. And what we do is we provide information, referrals, and resources that are the gateway to assistance. That's what energy assistance does. So we are here to spread a little bit of information about some of the programs, products, and services that Georgia Power offers, just to spread a little bit of awareness for our income qualified customers. So number one, Georgia Power does offer a senior citizen discount. Our customers who are 65 years of age or older, who meet annual income eligibility requirements, they have an income of $30,120 or less, are eligible to receive $33.50 off their bill each month. Now think about that. That's $402 yearly savings off your bill. So again, the qualifications is going to be, you have to be 65 or older. You have an income for one person of no more than $30,120, and you have to be the primary account holder. All right, another program that Georgia Power partners with would be the Locky program. Has anyone heard of the Locky program? I think the agency for your area would be Partnership for Community Actions, and this organization or this agency provides grants in the amount of $400 and $500 to those families that need some financial assistance or meet the guidelines of 200% of the poverty guideline for assistance. And they start these applications starting in December with our senior citizens, and they run that heating program through May. And then from May through July, or when funds exhaust, for our cooling program. So if you think about that, that's a great help to the community for heating and cooling. And I think, again, the agency for your particular area will be Partnership for Community Action. Also, Georgia Power partners with the Salvation Army with a program called Project Share. And we've been in partnership with them since 1985, and that's where you can donate through your bill $1, $2, $5, and $10 toward your assistance for those customers. And the great thing about this program is that those donated dollars are for your neighbors, those neighborhoods, the people that live in your neighborhood that may need a helping hand. It goes directly to your neighborhood, so you're able to help those customers. And then the next program would be our EASE program. And that program is Energy Assistance for Savings and Energy Efficiency Programs. That's a program for our customers that qualify 200% of the poverty guidelines that they get grants up to $5,000 for upgrades to their homes. So what we're trying to do is make healthy homes. So we have the EASE program, that's for basically the general public for 200% of the poverty line. And then we also have another program called Hope Works, and that one is specific to seniors, but the grant is still $5,000. So those are some of the programs that Georgia Power offers for our income qualified seniors. Now I'm going to talk about some of the digital platforms that we provide. So we do have one that is for organizations only, and I'll hold this up because this is the gateway to assistance for those organizations and nonprofits that provide assistance, financial assistance for our customers. We offer a free tool that you can use to get real-time information, provide peace of mind to our customers, as well as streamline the application process, called Energy Assistance Portal. Right? And again, that is a free tool that Georgia Power offers to nonprofit organizations only, community, faith-based, any organization that provide financial assistance can have access to this tool. Again, it is for approved organizations only. And then we have a customer-facing tool, which is called the CART tool. That's the Community Assistance Resource Tool. I'm holding this up for you because this is a great tool. This tool provides real-time information based on your needs. We have 6 different needs that you could search by, and also you search by your zip code. So you search what your need is, put your zip code in, and then this tool will pin the location where you can get assistance. And this provides statewide assistance. We do cover 155 of the 159 counties. Right? So I have also brought some collateral, just like my partners over at Jackson EMC that you could look at that will give you great information. Also, our website has a wealth of knowledge there. You are able to go to our website, Energy Assistance, and you can find all of the GCAA organizations. You can learn more about the Senior Citizens Discount. We have income qualified programs, the Salvation Army, and Hope Works. Then also, how many of you knew that Georgia Power has 7 different rates that you could possibly qualify based on your lifestyle? So you can learn a whole lot more about those and some other energy efficiency programs and incentives. I'll tell you that. So that's another offering that we do offer. And I think I just about covered everything. Yeah, I did. I covered everything. I hope I'm within my 10 minutes. But again, we have all of the collateral over here that you can look. We are here to help. Remember, energy assistance, we do cover, we are statewide, 155 of the 159 counties in Georgia. And we are here to help. So if you have any questions, we'll be glad to assist.
Thank you. You're in your power and your customer. Don't forget that.
No prizes.
The Jackson EMC I want to thank you, especially because he wasn't assigned to this job, to this duty this evening. Unfortunately, the lady that was assigned to it had a death in the family, and he just stepped in last minute and drove from Madison County. That was when we chased off one of our commissioners that made some mistakes in the county. Tommy Hunter? Yeah, Tommy Hunter. That's where he moved to. Anyway, so we. Okay, but anyway, the weather affected our turnout, but guess what? This is still a turnout of great people. Now we're going to take your questions. Feel free to direct your questions to any of the people, starting from the car people to the powerful people. So, you want to ask a question? Anybody? Yes.
Dave, I don't want to really ask a question. I just want to make a comment. You called us great people. We are fortunate to have the quality of this panel here for us, and I thank all of you.
So I want to say I'm sorry I'm late. I'm at your last town hall, and I am a citizen of, I'm a resident of Lilburn, but I support my brother and my sister, this county, because, this city, because my city needs help. And I'm saying that publicly because I live in Lilburn, but we need to copy your roll call, your pattern, your blueprint. So I will share that.
I only paid to have 10,000 to say. Yes.
Representative, I'd like to ask you what the state is doing or what you're trying to do to get more clean energy into Georgia.
I thought the question was for the powerful people. Well, I just want to tell you that at the General Assembly, when you were in the minority, the majority gets their way. But what we're trying to do is to increase solar energy. And also, because I serve on the Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications Committee, we're working on a bill also to make sure that when those solar farms, it's always a debate if they're farms or not, but they've got goats and sheep to eat up the grass. So then once you are done with those solar farms, that you clean up the site and restore it as close as possible to the original state. And that's what we're working on. We're working on trying to increase solar so we can get more clean energy. And also we're putting pressure to get Unit 3 online. Hopefully, Unit 3 will come online in March, by the end of it, or hopefully. So that's what we're working on. Thank you.
And Representative, I would say one thing, so Unit 3 is online, Unit 4 is the last one, and it should be online in March. Yeah.
That was why
And
I
that is
felt,
Plant Bowl.
that was why I felt mad at school.
That's not three.
And I was just there at Lawrenceville, and I saw the units. I saw through the walking. Senior moment.
That's okay.
Alright. Any other question? Scott?
Yes, I want to thank everyone for their comments and appreciate your service to the citizens of the county. One thing I would kind of building on the energy discussion is there is the growing issue of climate change. 2023 was the warmest year on record for the world. So we have a problem and we need to all pitch in and try to deal with it. There is some funding from the federal government that can help residents, businesses, utilities, and local governments to kind of move to be more sustainable, cleaner energy, less greenhouse gas emissions. And I just want to encourage you to try to take full advantage of that. And think about developing a plan over the next 10, 20, 30 years to how you can become net zero emissions as sort of a long-term goal, similar to what the United Nations and even the United States is now trying to do. So consider that. I know it's sort of another add-on to what you're already trying to do, but it can save you money in the long run, as well as improve our population health and not continue to add to making this problem even more difficult for future generations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All these people here are still waiting for your question. I hope you remember what each of them said. This is your time to get even.
So I have a ton of questions. Probably for everybody. Well, yeah, but probably but probably for everybody, not the law enforcement. I want to start with energy. And I'm not sure who, we have Jackson EMC here, we have the Georgia Power, we have Walton and all the others. So I'm not sure who gets to decide what services, how you split what services we get. Like you have Georgia Power, I have Georgia Power as well. Who determines what group or what zones gets what power or whatever services, because sometimes mobile don't want to be able to choose for ourselves. When it looks at some of these services are chosen for us. So that's one of my questions. Who gets to decide that? How do we move somewhere else, move to somebody else?
Competition is healthy.
So that the Georgia has what's called the Georgia Territorial Act of 1972, and that established at that time wherever you were as a company, organization, that is where to serve now. The only ability we have now to compete with other companies is if we have large buildings or large factories that come up, but then there are also specifications around that to say, is it actually competition? But in 1972, legislative-wise, it was said wherever you're serving, that's what you will continue to serve.
So what can citizens do if we want to get that legislation changed? Can we do anything? Are we just...
That goes to legislation, yeah, like regular legislation. And gas was deregulated a couple years ago, so you have to look at the good and bad of both sides. So gas is deregulated, so you do have a choice with that, but with utilities right now, it is set from that.
So I can help you a little bit, since we're the city of Lawrenceville is the 16th largest municipal gas supplier in the nation. Probably don't know that. And we're deregulated, and we always come under with all the markets. They don't even touch us. We're actually lower than the federal where the federal government states this is what for low income individuals you can't charge more than that, we're always less. So sometimes, deregulation doesn't, really help. And like when it comes to green, we have a $50 million investment in Lawrenceville units 3 and 4. And so we're actually, when those both come online, we'll be around 86% green, which is more than most any, because of MEAG, that's our group we're with, which, with MEAG and Georgia Power own units 3 and 4, and others also do, and everybody. But the point being is to get completely green, as the gentleman mentioned, Scott, my problem is when you have India and China that say that they're developing countries still, and they refuse to do anything with green. Whatever we do materially it doesn't materially change the global warming. So until the federal government can figure out how to work out deals with these other countries that are refusing to do anything, they put us all in the pit.
India and China, developing countries.
Well, believe it or not, if you Google it, you'll see that they are.
I mean, I don't doubt you. They just escape from their responsibilities. If they're a developing country, I wonder what Swaziland is. Anyway, your question has been answered? You got more?
No, I don't know if it's been answered per se, but I put it back when I brought that up as well. The next door, my neighborhood, we committed on the next door app, and Georgia Power seems to always have the highest. Everybody that's in Georgia Power doesn't like Georgia Power. Everybody wants to give it and go off. So that's why I asked that, can we do anything as citizens to get to choose? We don't have a problem with Lawrenceville Gas. We have a problem with Georgia Power. So I would do anything as citizens who wish to choose and go to Jackson AMC or something somewhere else.
I guess we can wind the clock back to the police list, 1972.
And also
52 years ago.
I work for Georgia Power, but also keep in mind, just for me, even personally, your thermostat has a lot to do with your power bill. So you have to monitor those things at home as well. And it really does. It makes a difference. But unfortunately, right now, there's not a choice.
You can get your neighborhood people to come to the Capitol and just lobby for a change and see if we can get it done. Right? Another question? Yes, sir. Did you raise your hand?
Pointing to this young lady.
Oh, sure.
She's raised her hand about 7 pounds.
Oh, well, please. That's my favorite pastor. Go ahead.
I just would mention the last meeting we had. Someone asked a question about how houses were being sold. Deeds were being the problem that we're having with people that seem to be able to get your deeds and sell your houses or sell the equity or borrow against the equity in your house and then they leave town. So I was just wondering, has any progress been made on making us aware of how bad that is? But we're learning how bad it is from the news. Because the last meeting it was asked, and I think the mayor didn't know about it or something.
Yeah.
No, I think the mayor said.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Okay. The question is this prevalent fraud? That's where somebody can just
go into the wherever you get the deeds from and get fake deeds and borrow against the equity in your house and then run away with the money.
Let me start answering that question. Because just today, they began drafting a bill for me. Because when I looked into that issue, I found out that you can walk into the clerk of court's office and pool deeds and whatever, file or whatever, without any identification required. That made it possible for some criminals to go in there and change the names of your property to theirs and sell it. And then somebody will come in one day and tell you to move. And then you owners.
You said it's happening.
It is happening. So
Yeah, we
my
are.
bill is to require identification to file any business with the clerk of court. And also, sometimes you may have an elderly person going in the house. If that person is not able to go to the clerk's office, you have to have a power of attorney and also get ID before you can file or pull any papers from the clerk of court's office. So that way, if anybody does that, if you have a fake license, it makes it easy for the owner of the house to recover the house once it's proven that the person used a fake license to sell your house. Right now, when they sell these houses fraudulently, it's difficult to recover them. It takes sometimes years for you to recover them. So we're working on that.
Yeah, because even if they move in your house while you're out of town, trying to get them out. But I also just want to say thank you to the chief of police and to Gabe and to Patsy Osborne for coming to the symposium that we had for Georgia's reentry program to try to help reduce the racism. I didn't get a chance to thank you guys. And you all showed up and we're trying to, that's a major problem. And hopefully we can start having some of them maybe come to these meetings. When they get out to express their needs.
Thank you. By the way, lunch was good. Yes. Right?
Yeah, I had a question. Okay, so now your bill is going to require ID for the overall circuit board, or is it going to be specific for real estate? Like that's a quick thing. What she's talking about is that when you have people, what they're doing, you have a quick claim deal, start information on actually an attorney, former solicitor general in Gwinnett County. And I think Patsy also did a lot of, real estate. But so you're saying when you come in, you would have ID for a civil matter, correct? Are you? It's overall encompassing for everything. So I know what you're specifically saying is that if someone comes in, they would have to have an ID for the quick claim deed. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
See, another component would also be possibly is not only the ID, but they may have to have a hearing also. That may be something I can talk to you about. You have the ID, have a hearing, because what's happening consistently now is I think Chief Brewer was telling you that also. People are coming in, they show a quick claim deed, and then they take possession of the home and they can sell that. They can sell that home. I think another point would be not only do you have the ID, but you have to interpret court, whether you would have some type of hearing also. You have the ID, but the point about the ID is, if that's substantiated, because that person can fake an ID. They can actually fake that ID, especially as we talk about the technology now. So I was thinking about that too, because my wife and I, our house is fake. And so that was something very important to me. An ID and a possible hearing, verification of ID. So I thank you for doing that, because there's some things going on.
But they did add something else, just so everyone will know. You want to talk about this, Gabe? They did add something called FANS, Filing Activity Notification Services. It's free. You can sign up here in Georgia, and the minute someone looks at your deed, you're notified.
Yeah, that's what
That came out this recently.
Yeah, now today, if I use somebody's ID,
It's called FANS. Okay.
Now,
It's, oh, can I tell her?
now, Brian, I'm gonna talk to you offline.
FANS.
My bill is being drafted. That means we can add to it or subtract from it. I spoke with this, I was in a meeting with the speaker this afternoon. And he loved it and he was going to take a look at that bill once it's drafted. See what else we can, add to it, just to make sure that this nuisance stops. Yes.
So the commissioner that you that's in charge of like the rates and stuff like that for Georgia Power that's elected into office, what is that position called? The commission.
Public Service Commission.
Public service. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
So that's another thing that you can do too is during election time, make sure you pay attention to every item on that ballot. That's a very important one.
Okay.
Yes, I have a question. I remember reading earlier this year, remember there was the Public Service Commission race that never happened? Was a new date set for that?
And I know the judge ruled, what I guess, the at-large system. I don't think that has been done. Okay. Yes. Okay. I don't see any other. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, thank you for inviting me here. I appreciate it. Eddie Wilson here, financial professional, but also I serve with 100 Black Men as chairman of economic development. So my question for you that I have is, you mentioned that simple supply and demand, right? Supply evidently is low on housing, correct? As far as people, fluctuating into that's looking for residency here in Lawrenceville, if I'm not mistaken. Were you speaking on Gwinnett or
Countywide.
Countywide, right? So my question to you is, and please clear it up for me, is there, as far as a disconnect with funding, is there a disconnect with the amount of developers you're working with? Where is that disconnect, and how can someone that you can outsource to, like, me or anyone else, not me, but anyone else can kind of help? Because, like you said, we are a community, and what better way to get your resources from than the community? You know what I'm saying? So, in what way can we help remedy that?
So I'll try and answer that question best I can, because the housing crisis that we're in, there's no one reason as to what contributed to that. Right now, I pointed to the housing market crisis in 08, but, I guess cost of construction, labor market issues, interest rates have gone up. So now it's more expensive to borrow money for construction, right? So let's say I wanted to build an apartment. I would need to take out, we'll say a $20 million loan. I'll bring some equity, I have to take out $20 million loan. When the interest rates were dirt cheap for 15 years, it cost me less money to borrow that money. Now that they've gone up, and they've gone up in a short period of time due to the Fed, it costs more money to borrow that $20 million. So as a county commissioner, when we do our public hearings or zoning nights every month, I've seen firsthand, and there's still just like this, I've seen less development activity in different mixed-use housing, residential developments. Now, with that said, you're still going to see development. We had Tuesday, and are still focusing single-family townhomes, etc. Development is still happening. The problem is, it's not happening at the rates we demand. So when I said earlier that there needs to be substantive significant policy changes to meet that demand. If nothing else changes and we remain the status quo by the year 2040, 72% of housing demand will be unmet for that Georgia. 72%. So going back to that example, I got 4 people. I got 1 home. Want enough homes for the 1 person on the 4. That means these 4 folks are going to throw a large amount of money to get that 1 home. And when it's all said and done, the cost of this house will be inflated, and the 3 remaining people will be left behind. But we did do some things last year that I'm very proud of. Okay, we made some changes to our zoning ordinance that is going to encourage, I believe, denser housing options or make it easier. We're talking about as a county pre-zoning land, right? So what we'll do is we'll find land and then we'll zone it for the use that we want. And that should make it easier for private sector developers, home builders, apartment folks, etc., to go in there and build that. But it's going to be a challenge. You know, I think Gwinnett has a little more than 9% of undeveloped land left in the county. So to continue with the historic development patterns that were the case in the 2090s is not going to help us get out of this problem. We're going to have to think different. Duplexes, quadplexes. We're going to have to maybe live closer to one another. But I guess I close the loop by saying this: at the end of the day, we can come with all the plans, all the documents. But at the end of the day, it still takes majority of the board to approve the process. So that's why it's so important that you elect people to the board commission who has an understanding of development and is willing to make the tough decisions in that chamber that may cause heartburn short term, but it's the best for our county long term. Because you notice everything I said about this issue is 10, it's 20 years out. I'm 35. I'm not going anywhere. My son's 2. So my motivation is to how we build a community that's sustainable, that's welcoming, that has a place for everybody for the next years, many years, next generation.
Okay.
I know that was a lot, but I hope that answers.
Well, I did have to rebut, but I mean, I don't want to take.
Hey, we can always talk one-on-one. I'll be here.
Yeah.
I would tell you from trying to talk and get developers to come in to Lawrenceville, it has a lot to do with the supply of labor. Okay. It has a lot to do with the cost of construction. In Lawrenceville, we have an issue, it's redevelopment. Everything we do is redevelopment, it's not just development. I was fortunate, a few of us were able to fly the helicopter for the first time in my life and look around to see development, where things can be built. And all of a sudden I said, so what is all, I see all this red dirt, what development is that? Thinking I was in Gwinnett County. I knew I was outside of Washington, but I was like, no, that's Barrow County. Because the land is too expensive. We had projects where we couldn't give the land away and still made the numbers work for it because the banks are putting the pencils down right now.
I see.
Okay. All right. Let's pre-zoning. Pre-zoning land. That's what.
Right. Yeah. So Matt Elder has some money that we approved for him, where I think it's $9 million, where he will go and acquire property, get it zoned for what we want it to be, what the vision is for the county. Once it's zoned, then we'll put out an RFP or RFQ for the private sector, and then we'll submit their applications to say, hey, I have something in mind that meets your vision. So you're taking out a lot of that time that you need to deal with the mayor or a commission, because in real estate, time is money.
Why didn't you guys do that when I was in the planning commission? We made it very difficult.
Well, that's before you were doing all the studies, Dave, and learning.
Ah, yes. Woo!
Anyway. Okay. What, last, go ahead.
I just want to mention that one thing that we haven't discussed here, and I know you all know about, but that we need to add to the list, is the necessity for infrastructure and traffic. You cannot build in some of these areas where the cars are one on top of the other and you can't get anywhere. So I've testified before the commission, before all kinds of places when I don't want something built because I can't see my community getting all messed up. And I think that that's a very, very important thing in terms of planning for the commission, and I'm quite sure that our commissioners know that.
Yes, very good. I'll say this is the fastest growing county in Georgia, one of the fastest growing in the Southeast, and one, if not the biggest challenge for this board and future boards is how to have services in place that don't just accommodate today's population, but the next wave of people. That's the challenge we're working with.
All right, guys, we've been at this for 2 hours. And I think we've done very well. Well, you should applaud if we've done well. So, next one will be in 3 months. And we'll get ready and we'll do. Okay, announcement. All right, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. So, one thing that I know hasn't really been discussed tonight that I want to talk to is our kids, especially our kids that are graduating from college and schools. I know Gabe's going to bring that very soon. But I'm starting a tour in my district, and it's focused on our kids that are graduating. This Sunday, I will be doing a session and bringing some subject matter experts to talk to students that are graduating right now about the Georgia Math, FAFSA, and financial aid. What I hope to also do is do a follow-up workshop that's going to talk about skills trade, whether you want to get into be an apprentice or Georgia Power. I know Georgia Power out there, technician. Yeah, and then possibly the police and talking to Major Ayers over in Big Creek Precinct. So we have to look at our kids having options, right? It's not, we have to have that workforce pipeline assured. We have a lot of jobs open in Georgia. So if you have friends, relatives, anyone, loved ones that want to find out more information this weekend about going to college and having that support, I have the information. I'll send it out to Gabe and we'll get it out to everyone else. But it's open to everyone. Even though it's my district, I just want more to the district. Check us out.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
And can I just say this, sir? And I appreciate getting those folks ready to go, the young folks that are graduating, but also shameless plug, if you know folks who are interested in careers in law enforcement, 911 and police, I understand everybody doesn't want to get out and be patrol, I get it. We have a lot of jobs within the police department, so please, if folks are interested, please send them our way.
Do you have a basketball team?
Don't have a basketball team, maybe a bowling team.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.